Thanks for joining us on the NRT Now podcast, part of the largest Christian music site online, newreleasetoday.com. Sit back and relax as we chat with your favorite artists, introduce you to new artists, and more. Now here's your host, Jake.
So we are here with the band CAIN, which is a brother and sister trio, and we've got Logan, Madison, and Taylor. I think I got that right. It's only been 5 minutes.
Right, yeah.
I'm hoping I didn't forget a name already.
I should put my name on the screen. Mine just says iPhone. So we're here with Taylor, Madison, and iPhone.
Yeah. Okay, so we got CAIN and iPhone. No.
We got
CAIN and iPhone.
me, Taylor, I'm the oldest, and then a year younger than me is Madison, and a year younger than Madison is Logan.
That's actually the pattern of what my kids, well, age difference, but my boy is the youngest out of the batch, so it fits. I understand what's going on here.
Okay.
Set up for success.
Okay, the interview's over. We've already got all you need to know.
I got what I needed.
So I got to ask, and I promise I'm going somewhere with this, but did you guys grow up on the Gaithers at all? Or is that just a function of me being too old?
No. Oddly enough, our uncle, Bob CAIN, he was a trumpet player, and he played with the Gaithers, so I feel like they were always on TV and like present, and we grew up, a lot of their songs we call hymns because that's what we equated to being, Christian, like older music.
Right.
And we sing this song, something about that name, and that's a Gaither song.
Yeah,
correct?
like every show.
Yes, yeah. So, but I truly feel like our Gaither was like Stephen Curtis Chapman, Michael W. Smith, Amy Grant. You know what I mean? Like that was our starting out.
Well, the reason I ask is when I was a kid growing up, Grandma's house, we always had the Gaither homecoming tapes. My grandma was a huge fan of the Gaithers. Yeah. That's like a good childhood memory. But where I'm going with this is there was a group in there called the Martins. Okay. And I don't know if you guys have heard of them.
I don't know.
But they are another brother-sister trio, one guy, two gals. And my siblings and I have two sisters, and that's what we thought we were going to be forever. Like, we thought we were going to do the Martins, we were going to have a group, and that was kind of our childhood there. Wow. Of course, because I'm sitting here interviewing you guys, that didn't happen. But
or it's about to.
Go on, pop off.
This was the long play.
Yes.
Maybe. I'm not holding out hope. But when I saw you guys come out, it's like, man, that's my childhood. Maybe we can call you the next Martins or something. Maybe that's too much.
We're the next Frederick.
We're the Fredericks.
Well, I'm not sure you guys want to go down that road, but I'll accept that graciously.
We need to look up the Martins, though. Did they have? I feel like we're not really that special as far as like if your family, you've got harmony. You've just got to learn how to do it and apply it the right way. Yeah. Did you ever try it? Were you ever like, okay, girls, let's sing?
We probably tried it, and it probably died pretty quickly. That's probably where it ended, to be honest.
One shot.
Like, I play guitar. I'm the one that kind of remained musical out of the deal. My sisters can play the iPad. They can play Spotify. Nice. Okay. I'm not sure where
DJs, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's funny. Our story, we didn't start singing together until college, really. I was a very shy kid. So the girls sang, and I played drums. So I played drums really all throughout high school and into the ministry that we were a part of in college. So I didn't lead corporate worship really until my last year of college, and we sang together. I guess 2011 and 12 were really the first years where we started trying to sing together because I always was playing drums.
Stepping out from the cage into the spotlight here.
That's right.
Because we all know like a church worship drummer is always in a cage somewhere. Like at our church, they even have their own office. It's a whole separate room. Until we did cameras for live stream, like they were completely hidden back there. Like, we don't even see
I didn't realize I had such a desperate need for attention. I was like, I don't need to lead. I don't need to sing. I don't need to be seen. And then I'm playing the drums so hard. And they're like, why is it?
Well, I mean, the whole attention thing, I mean, since you are the youngest, I mean, you probably got all the attention. I mean, Taylor's probably like, preach it.
I needed it.
I feel like we all found attention in our own ways. My way of seeking attention was, I don't even think I was seeking attention, but I was very daredevil.
Risk. Yeah.
She was a risk. I tried to bungee jump out of my tree with a jump rope. And I tied it on my ankles, and then a neighbor found me before I jumped. So I don't think that was for attention, but I got attention from that for sure. Just kind of like, we can't take our eyes off of you.
Yeah. Oh, that's hilarious. So talk a little bit about, growing up in Alabama, which actually, talking about that, we were just talking before as we were getting set up here, about the cold that just happened this last week. Taylor, you were saying like anything under 65 is just like tundra.
Yeah.
Well, we're in Florida right now, and so you just can't complain. I love it here. It's the best. But being from Alabama, it's like it gets sweeter every time I go home. We just shot the music video for Yes He Can there, and just everybody being so kind and like
people were stopping in just to check it out. The paper came by to write an article that we were shooting a music video. It just,
I mean, it just feels special. It's like, I don't know if we'll ever be bigger than we are now, but they make you feel like you're something special whenever you go back. So we're trying to say that we're from Nashville because we've been there for 8 years. So at some point it was like, all right, when are we? But I don't know. I'll always say we're from Alabama.
I know. I remember it. So we can divulge on this later, but our music career started in country music because we were offered some help by our grandfather, and he said, I'm not plugged into Christian music, but I am in the country. So we were like, well, we're worship leaders, but okay, God, if you're opening a door, we're going to walk through it, kind of thing. So anyway, that led us to playing a show in London, and Jason Aldean was the headliner. And so we went in obviously afterward and watched, and Jason Aldean played Flyover States, which I don't know if you're familiar with that song, but they started showing.
I'm not a country guy.
No. So he's just talking about the states in the middle of the country that don't get as much glam or whatever. And they, on the screen behind him, they were just, we're in London and they're just putting the names of states. And when Alabama came up, my eyes welled up and I was just like, yeah, I'm from there. So I think Alabama will always hold a sweet place in my heart, but we're Nashville people. Come on.
I say that, we're Texans now. Yeah. We moved down here about 9 years ago, but our heart's still in Wyoming. We moved down here, I said that 9 years ago, but I'm still a Wyoming boy at heart, and my wife is still a Wyoming gal. Somehow our kid, who's been here the majority of her life, she's a Wyoming girl. Don't know how that happened, but we're proud of it. So I totally understand what you guys are talking about.
It's almost like you get offended. Like there's this new burger place on Main Street, and I was kind of looking around like, what? When was somebody gonna tell me this? Or
is
they didn't really ask if we could. Okay, I was like, okay, I didn't know that. So
yeah, we grew up in the Hartselle Pool. Hartselle Pool. It's now the Hartselle Aquatic Center, and it has a lazy river. Like, okay, the high school tripled in size. So we went to basically like a jail cell with a new friend, CAIN or whatever, and they got a university. So
you asked us right at the beginning, you were asking us about the weather. I remember in junior high counting on we were going to get snow days because we didn't get snow. So they gave them to us because they were scheduled in. So it would just be like, that's when we're going fishing. It's like, oh, we're off for a snow day.
Nice.
We're going somewhere.
See, we had to go ice fishing. Well, not me, but Wyoming, you went ice fishing on those snow days.
Oh my gosh. As a Wyoming family, is there a little tension between what Texas calls cowboys and what you guys call cowboys? Because there's some true cowboys in both places, but what's your take as a Wyoming guy?
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of difference between, a cowboy's a cowboy, but you also have the city cowboy versus, the cowboy and cowboy chic.
Nashville.
Cowboy chic is great. So funny. Jake, that's the song. You said you're not a country guy. A cowboy's a cowboy. Look at you. Fire out here.
I'm not a country guy, but like living in Wyoming, you have to absorb some of it. Like It's everywhere. So
Yeah.
hazards of living in Wyoming, I guess. I know I talk a little bit about trash about country music, but every once in a while, like I don't turn the station if a country song comes on, or I don't hit next on Spotify.
Well, that's we talk about it fondly just because we learned about songwriting while we were pursuing country music, and the feedback we always got was, "Man, we like your stuff. It sounds like Christian music," which we obviously never like took a no. It's like, oh, obviously. So that filled us with so much pride and joy that it wasn't a crossover attempt. We loved Christian music. We grew up on Christian radio. So deciding to pursue Christian music felt more like coming home than a marketing plan. But at the same time, we try to write songs now, how country songs are written in terms of there's a story and there's a flow, and we're trying to take you somewhere. And I feel like that's served us. So I'm thankful.
That was our attempt in writing. There's a song on the album called The Commission. And we tried to write a country song about the person of Jesus, right? Country format song.
Yeah.
So we're looking at each verse is written from a different character in the Bible. And instead of just sometimes in Christian music, it's too easy to just take a bunch of Christian words and mix them up and throw them back on the page. So we're trying to take some of the art form that we've learned and apply it and try to really bring Jesus to life. That's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, I think we need to do an exercise like that one of these days. What you're talking about, the Christian words and phrases. Do like a Yahtzee cup. Just put it on a cube, shake it up, put it out, and then here's your song. Here's your Christian music song.
Oh my God. I'll work on that while we're talking.
I mean, you're talking about some of your Gaither being like Stephen Curtis Chapman and Michael W. Smith, and some of these that are still around. My first album my first CD that I ever got on a boombox was "Heaven in the Real World" by Stephen Curtis Chapman.
What a good song. The whole thing.
And then I bought Jesus Freak right after that with my own.
Let's go.
No, there's not going to be a CCM reference that you make that we're not going to get. We were exclusively
all in.
Mark Lowry.
Yes.
Is that a CCM reference? Okay. I'm trying to go down the road of like somebody that from that era that you might not have heard of, but I don't know if I can even try.
Do you remember, there's some early 2000s ones that people don't know as well, like Out of Eden. Do you remember any of that?
Yep. I remember Out of Eden.
Okay, this is a really, really, really deep reference.
Okay.
Raze, R-A-Z-E.
Oh my gosh, that was my jam. Both albums.
What's the girl, Lizzie, that had I had the poster. I was all in.
Oh, 100%. I'm sure that those discs, I'm probably sure I have them somewhere and they're all scratched up because I got used so much.
They're in a CD tower, probably, I'm sure.
Well, I wasn't that highfalutin. I had the binder.
Yeah, come
that
on,
was
binder.
about 3 inches thick.
Oh my gosh.
I love it.
Oh, man. But, man, you look at how Christian music has just changed over from the stuff that we listen to. Like, Raze was, like, out there because it was so different than anything that was out there. I mean, Jesus Freak was just way out there. Man, do you remember, like, Bleached Hair Skillet? Do you remember, like, Alien Youth Skillet?
Okay, do you remember album, is 1 or 2 of Plum? Do you remember Plum? Do you know Plum the Group?
She's still rocking it, man.
Oh yeah.
Getting it.
Yeah.
But it felt like there was the 90s and the 2000s. You could do whatever you wanted. It felt like so so much
all the way
variety.
pop.
Yes. Yeah, they were doing it.
Do you feel like now
Yeah.
there's like a pretty narrow lane for music? Does it all sound similar to you? Because you hear a lot of it.
I really think that depending on where you're going, and this is kind of where I was going with it, the Rays, and some of these were like weird at the time, or they're not weird, but novel at the time because Christian music had kind of its own lane. It had to be kind of hymn-like. It just kind of had a certain formula. But now, like, we have all the way from the Christian hip-hop genre to the electronic to everywhere in between. I mean, just the diversity that's happening. Some of the country-ish, like Mallory Hope.
Yep.
You have Sarah Reeves. That's kind of that really high-energy pop. I mean, we have such a range now. You do see a little bit of compression, in my opinion. Like especially like in the worship genre, some of the pop genre. You do see a little bit of compression because there is a radio formula. there are some genres that I do feel that kind of have a formula. But like, so you take that step back and just look at the breadth today as opposed to what it was. I mean, it just blows me away, the creativity that's come into the Christian music space.
I honestly, I agree. I feel that I'm experiencing less gatekeepers than I thought I would experience. And I'm running into more and more people that are encouraging that. Like you said, I feel like the formula in the best possible sense has just become like, is Jesus at the center of this song or this message? We're good with it. We'll find somebody that wants to listen to it, as opposed to it's got to be this length and it's got to fit this sound and I'm super encouraged. I feel like everyone that we're working with is encouraging us to continue to try to expand.
And when you think about it too, a lot of genres of music that have a radio format, they experience the same things. Like in country music, most of the songs are about alcohol. Most of them need to be a certain tempo. They have certain phrases like back road, hometown. Like they do a lot of so it really is one of those things where like we get not only the entire Bible to choose from, but you can take even like spiritual things that have happened in your life. And not only that, you can be country, pop, R&B, like you can be any genre as well. So that's pretty cool.
What? You know the old country song joke, right? What happens if you play a country song backwards?
What?
You get your dog back, you get your truck back, you get your house back, you get your wife.
Right.
Terrible joke. I'm surprised you guys haven't heard that one, because that's like, I heard that one in like middle school.
Oh man, well you're in Wyoming and it just takes a long time for it to fall.
It trickled down.
Well, I mean, look at how long it took for this polar vortex to get down to Alabama and the South, you know? So, I mean, it must have been following the same path something.
We have Taylor's dog down here at my feet. I have to show you. This is Willie Mays. She's a girl.
Can you say hi?
Hello.
What do you mean?
She's trying to play with a rock.
Whoops.
I guess we lost the girls.
Yep. So tell me about the dirty secrets about your sister. Tell me the stuff that you don't want your sisters to hear.
Oh, the dirty secrets. Well, they're just very terrible to work with. They're difficult. They push me around. I'm the little guy still. No, I would probably more likely be nice when they're not around than I gotta fight for my space. But yeah, no, it's been a blast. To be honest, I think that we get that question a lot, where it's like, what's it like to work with your family? And the truth is,
well, should we admit them back here as you're talking about this, or should we make them wait?
yeah, we can admit them.
Oh, okay.
When they pop in, I got you.
Well, maybe we should like hold off what we were talking about just a second ago, and we'll let that slide.
It'll be
for a
fine.
minute.
Yeah.
I just wanted to show the dog, and then I just wanted to
Destroy the whole thing.
Oh, isn't she cute?
Technology.
Okay, so and we're back. What did we miss?
Nothing at all.
You asked me about all the deep,
Nothing at all.
dark secrets.
Oh my gosh.
So he wouldn't divulge too much, but we'll let that be the second half of the
All right,
episode.
All right, cool.
What was I saying?
What's it like to work with people?
Oh, people ask us about what it's like to work with family. I mean, like I said at the beginning, I didn't sing until I saw the girls singing. I wouldn't do this without them. And I feel like it helps so much, because no matter how your song's doing on the radio or how things are going, there are a large number of days where you end the day feeling like, I missed it. I'm not doing this right. I'm not doing a good job, whatever. And it's nice to have the three of us in the room at the end of the day to sort of bounce things off of each other and try to keep the focus where it should be.
It's very rare that all three of us are really down at the same time. There's usually someone that is in a better mood than the other two to kind of keep it up.
I mean, you guys have lived together, grew up together, so I mean, being on the road is just, I imagine, just childhood, just keeping going forward.
Blast. It's so funny.
blast.
We have to be careful because we'll end up just like screaming, laughing in the car, and then we'll blow out our voices before. But I think it's really fun. I look forward to it whenever we get to be like Taylor and I on our short bus tour. We had bunks across from each other, and we would open our little curtains and it's like,
So I got to know about the prank. I mean, obviously, being siblings, having siblings myself, there's always some way to get at each other. What are some of the good tour bus pranks and some of the grief that you give each other while you guys are out on the road to pass the time?
Well, what I do that you don't love is that sometimes I'll just like dump your hat, or I'll like hug you when you don't want to be hugged. Or I started pulling your hair the other day.
I think some of the classics, not super creative. We just, a good old hair pull.
You don't have to do much. I think it's just knowing that Madison doesn't care if it's someone else's water bottle, or coffee. She's gonna grab it, and if it's there, she's like, "Oh, thank goodness, I'm thirsty."
We don't know. Truly.
And that's not my favorite. Share a milk coffee drink with my sister.
The pranks also probably center mostly around being around the other people on the tour, because that's when the things come out. So
almost
it's
like three gremlins. Yeah.
The shared space, the common area, the catering, that's where the worst in us tends to come out.
The bus is the sacred space there.
Right.
Like, and anything else is fair game, but the bus is our space.
The bus is Switzerland. Everyone's at peace on the bus. Okay.
So I figure at some point in time, we do actually need to talk about the music, which actually it earned you guys a We Love Awards nomination here recently.
That's cool.
Very honored.
Well deserved. Well deserved.
Oh, man. Thank you.
But we're talking about some of the different sounds that have come through Christian music. The Rise Up, has gotten huge, which, once again, deservedly so. Well, there's the dog again. Let's see if the tail will hit the end button again.
What?
Yeah, so talk a little bit about that. I love the sound is different. It has some classic rock vibe, has some country vibe, has a lot mixed in there, and the storytelling in that song. Talk a little bit about kind of the influences and what's gone into the song that's kind of blown it up.
Yeah. The key is the flat 7. Take it away.
Right. Nashville numbers.
I think our influences, we listed some of those earlier because we only listen to Christian music. But what's funny is when the country thing happened for us, I just took a deep dive on I feel like, we've missed a lot of music. And what we weren't listening to was current country. We were listening to Fleetwood Mac. We were listening to the Eagles. We were listening to Leonard Skinner.
CCR.
Yeah. So I think just because we just connected way more to that. And as far as they always had, Leonard Skinner, for example, you're going to have a lead vocal and then you're going to have a little squad of girls singing background vocals in harmony. And it just makes the songs to me. So I think for us, we were trying to draw from okay, we have harmony, but what else can we do? And on Rise Up, it was amazing to just fill the room with gang vocals, as many as you could. And I think it makes people, they feel like that's what heaven's going to sound like. Or I think for some reason, not just us three, but making our songs accessible to where everyone feels like I have a place in music. And that's what you're going to continue to see through all of our songs that come out.
They all got a little choir.
They get a little choir.
And it's us making different mouth sounds. So we'll be like, rise up, and then rise up. And we just do lots of layers of us singing it with different shapes. Makes it feel big.
One of these days, I want to be in the studio when you guys do this, because that sounds like it's going to be a riot as you guys are all just running out each different take. There's a blooper reel there hidden somewhere.
Because Logan took a video and it's just it's trash, and somehow it makes it.
Okay, now let's be children. Rise up, take it back. You got to be the whole crowd.
You got to be everybody.
Right.
Yeah, that's a blooper reel that I think we all need to see here at some point.
We got to make it happen on the list.
So you guys are going to be on a drive-in tour. You guys have been with Zach Williams. So that's coming back around. Hallelujah. Live music's coming back.
I'm not trying to be dramatic, but the best year of our life is coming up. Unless there's another pandemic.
You know what? Can we just mute this part out?
No, I'm seriously so excited. So we released 6 songs. We have 5 new songs coming out May 7th. Then in a couple weeks, we're going out on a drive-in tour with Zach Williams and Mac Powell, and we're already becoming best friends with Zach Williams' band. And so I'm going to bring a kickball, and we're going to just bring stuff to do all day because we're not allowed to go anywhere. So we're going to do a lot of, maybe we could do some, what's it called? Yard games.
Field day.
Field day.
Yeah.
So we got that going on. The Yes You Can music video was so funny. I can't wait for you to see it. We tried to just make it all fun and funny.
unless it's edited together weird, and then no one will see it. So can't wait for that. It's a mystery.
And then in the fall, we pick back up with Zach Williams and We the Kingdom. So basically, the whole year is just us and Zach Williams hanging out.
I could think of worse years or worse ways to spend a year. You guys were coming through Dallas, I believe, right when everything was shutting down on that tour.
Yes.
I was actually literally on the way to, well, not literally, but I was kind of wrapping up, getting ready to head that way to that show, help out, with one of the local radio stations and all that. When everything kind of just got the call of like, nope, we're going home. That shut down and everything. So,
yeah, I ran into a guy in the parking lot that day. We had just gotten the news. It was like probably 1 PM, and a guy and his friend had showed up early, and he had a guitar in his hand, and he was like wanting to get Zach to sign it, but then it was canceled, and everybody sort of scattered. And so he was like, "Well, would you sign it?" And I was like, "That's so nice. You have no idea who I could have just been like a crew member. Like, that's so sweet." So shout out to you, whoever that guy was. I signed his guitar and he got in an Uber and drove away. So, I mean, now that sort of sounds like a dream I had maybe, but so if you live in the Dallas area and you just have one signature on your guitar you don't recognize, I'm sorry. We're excited to come see you again.
I am really excited for that to happen, in October. Like, I'm going to be there 100%.
Yeah.
I think it's October.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I know.
I've lost track of everything.
We have to.
Perfect segue, because if you go to CAINtheband.com, you can check out those tour dates and see when we're coming to your area. I think it is October, though.
Yeah, it's been all such a moving target. Like, we were supposed to have Newsboys here in April, and they got kicked to October now. This whole last year has been just between just all the pandemic and just everything else. Like, I don't know if it's just me, but it was a blur. Like, it was March 300th or something like that.
Yeah.
We're coming out of it. We're coming out of it. I think that I'm excited. I appreciate people finding a way. Skip a row, don't sit next to each other. There are rules in place and people are following them, and we're getting to be together. Honestly, like, the Spirit of God has been there. You know what I mean? Not to just like hyper spiritualize this podcast, but like we're playing these one-off shows, and whether it's 3,000 or 300, people are so hungry and expectant to be there, and it's just been special. So I can't wait. If you're on the fence about going, so far things have been safe, things have been well taken care of, and God is showing up. And I just think we're finding a way. The people of God are finding a way. So.
And I just think it's so important that we continue hearing Christian music, as much as we can, sing these live shows. And there's something special about singing, at the top of your lungs next to somebody. Well, right now, not next to somebody, but 2019.
Yeah.
Tell them about one of the new songs. You don't have to go deep, but.
So one of our new songs is called People Need People. And in the first verse it says, back in the beginning there were two in the garden. No, we were never made to be alone. And even when God was just picking a perfect scenario, he could have made us okay by ourselves, but he didn't. He said that it's just not good for us. It's not healthy for us. So when we play that show live, I'll have one person in the front. I'll be like, hey, you laugh. And then they'll laugh kind of awkwardly. And then I'll have everyone laugh together. You can sit in your room by yourself and watch a screen and laugh, but there's something that makes your heart so happy when you're surrounded by everyone laughing together.
I got to find this video again. Maybe by the time this episode publishes, we can find that again. But was it Coke or somebody did this viral video that they paid somebody to just start laughing, just hucking it up on a train. And like about a minute in, like everybody in the train is just dying laughing.
That's so cool.
It's like so contagious, and just from a worship standpoint, I mean, yeah, you can sit and worship in your car, but when you see a room full of people worshiping, like there's just something about the presence in there that's just absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I'm ready. that got me really excited. I know it. I know it's going to happen.
I am so ready. And when you guys do come through Dallas, we're going to hit some yard games, wherever that is. We'll bring the yard game. We'll have a blast.
Texas Field Day.
Yes.
Potato sack race, 3-legged race. Most of these are race-based.
Most of it is racing.
Hold an egg in a spoon.
There you go.
Whatever that's
blindfold, pushing each other. This is what
that sounds like
I'm not sure if that took a fun turn or a dark
We were
turn with blindfolding
homeschooled
and
through
pushing
elementary
people.
school, so field day was different at our house.
A really sad video of us doing field day. Taylor went to kindergarten and me and Logan were homeschooled. And so there is a video of Dad laying down a broom and us jumping over and Mom and Dad pretending to give us medals. It's the most homeschool thing you've ever heard.
That is amazing, which we homeschool our kids. So I'm like, how do we not do some of those things for our kids? How do we not be like every homeschool cliche ever that I grew up with?
This is the end result. So it's good or bad. Like,
A little over falsity of confidence, huh?
yeah.
I go back to that broom jump often on my bad days. Okay.
You stepped in
I
the
look in the mirror and I'm like, you jumped so far.
Yes.
You can do this.
So you homeschool your kids. They're so confident. They love themselves. They love their siblings. Con, there's something a little funny in there. We don't know what it is.
They hug too much.
They hug too much.
Well, I mean, at the best, you were the head of your class. So, I mean, that's...
Hey.
True.
Wait, did you read that somewhere?
No. He was saying you are just by default.
Okay. I was like, I didn't make some good grades. I'm not
It
going
was
to
like,
lie.
talking about valedictorian.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry. You just missed me with me.
Well, I think we got to like put a pause here somewhere in the episode before it gets like too far down. I feel like we're starting that slow roll down the hill here. Oh, goodness. Well, I am so excited I'm so ready to do the yard games with you guys in October or whenever that is. We'll figure that out later. I mean, it's going to be great in Texas because it's going to be nice and cool. You know, we won't have the snow in October. We'll be in good shape for field day, and then we'll worship later.
Yeah.
We'll rock out later.
Love it. Thanks, Jake.
Yeah, thanks so much for spending the time with us here, guys.
Hey, if you want to try out your harmony skills and change to a CAIN, we're open.
Yeah.
So, like, if you're missing out on the Martin vibe, just let us know.
Yeah. The last name is non-negotiable, but we're open to more members.
When that comes, we'll get all that going, and we'll see about kind of the honorary CAIN or something like
I'll
that.
get the paperwork up.
Thanks, buddy.
Hey, thank you.
Bye.
Thanks for hanging out with us for this episode of the NRT Now podcast. Be sure to subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And special thanks to Neon Feather for providing our theme music. Make sure to check out newreleasetoday.com and our socials for more great content. See you next episode.